Hello, welcome to the Academy Web Design channel. Here we do fixes, modifications for students and so on. But also, we also teach core graphic user interface design in this channel. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and enable the notification button to bell to also get notified whenever we post a new tutorial or course. So in this particular one, we are going to fix all the issues we notice in this particular design interface. Okay, we're going to fix all the issues we are facing here. I'm going to list them one after the other. There are too many of them. He did a very wonderful work, I must commend that, but nevertheless we have so many errors in here that could be a problem in the future if you want to modify stuffs, or are already a problem based on the design theories and interpretations. So we are going to fix all of those one after the other. Okay, so first of which is that we shouldn't place elements in different sections, because different sections loads website a little bit slower. Not that it's slow, based on the tool we are using, it's super fast. 3 seconds your website loads fast. But what if you want it to load less than 2 seconds? You have to minimize as much section as you place in your website. So we have number 1 section and number 2 section beneath. But this particular element over here, we could include it in the section above and still allow it function as it is with the power of our grid styling. So as simple, let's do just that. So we're going to grab this particular element or card. Just click on copy. For the fact we have Oxy Extra hydrogen pack, we have the ability to copy elements from one side to the other. Is very powerful too. You need to join this particular course. So just do is copy the element. When you copy a style, you're copying the style of this particular element. The width, the padding, the margin, the rounded corner, the radius, and so on and so forth. But when you copy the element, you're copying everything. You can also cut it to cut it out of here, but you can just do copy and allow it blink, and you can paste it over here. Click on here, click on your Control C in your keyboard. Oh, not Control C. Control C is copy actually. So we do Control C from here, and we click here and we click Control V to paste it in there. So fine. As you can see, we have the tool in here, but it's not the same width as we have below, even though we have extra spaces here. Why? I'm going to tell you why. First of all, we are going to delete this so we can deal. Let's just delete the whole section from here so we can deal with that as it deserves. So first of which, we see that the first elements here are not of the same equal size, which is not what we should have. Okay, forget about the button. I'm going to talk about the button after now. So let's start from the image to begin with. Okay, the image have a padding, as I can see from here, and the padding have a padding of 10 top, left, and right. No, we are not supposed to add the padding to the image. We are supposed to add the padding to the card. You get the point? So we are going to go to the image and we're going to remove the padding, all round padding. So we're going to make this, let's remove the padding, let's make it to 0 padding and apply that to all, 0 padding and apply it to all sides of that particular image. Now, we notice that the image doesn't have a class. I told you to always add a class. If it had a class, the style we just apply here will automatically apply to this one. But for the fact it doesn't have a class, you're going to go to this one and still do the same thing, and that is time wasting. Okay, so next we are going to add that particular padding to this particular element, which is the card. Let's still see if there is a class in the card. You didn't add a class to your card. Why? So we're going to add a class for him. So we call this class card new. Okay, or card 2 to represent just the 2 cards here. Number 1 card, and we're going to apply the same class to this one. Just click on it and then type card, and it will pop out the card 2 we just added, and we can practically just click on it and it's added to that particular element, which means everything we style from either this or this will apply to the both of them. For instance, we go to the sizing and we add a padding of 10. Let's make it a padding of 13, and we apply it all around. It's going to apply to the both parties. Okay, I think 10, padding 10 is perfect. So everything we apply to one applies to all that have the same classes, and our design is getting set gradually. So the next thing is that I don't like the color we used here, so we could modify the color a little. The background color should be something a little bit more darker than like close to what we have in the background. Okay, now we are changing the color in the class, but it's not affecting to this because we actually styled it with the ID. So we're going to click on the ID and remove the color we styled in the ID. Automatically it applies there. Go to this one and also remove the color from the ID. Automatically all colors will apply there. So we are good to go. Any color we apply now automatically shows up. So we want it to be a little dark. We don't want it to be too vibrant as this other one. We are still going to apply, we're going to apply the same class to this. Yes, let's just try to apply the same class to this. First off, let's remove the color. You can remove the color either from going to advanced background color or from primary. Scroll down till you find the background color over here. Okay, then you can clear it out. When you clear it out, it's empty and we can now start styling. Just add the class, we call that card, to apply to the class, and we have the card applied. So next is that the width of your cards should always be 100%. I talked about that and you didn't apply it. This also should be 100% perfect. You did the perfect work there. This also should be 100%. You did a very nice work there. So now we are getting close to our modification styling and everything is getting set. Now we're going to add a little bit of rounded border around this very tiny one. Okay, follow me closely, very tiny one. We are going to do that and it's going to apply in all of the cards here. So we go to advanced, okay, and we go to border and we click allow this to be all. If you select on the side, you are applying it to only the top. If you select on this one, we are applying the styling now to the top alone, but we want to apply it to all sides of all cards. So select on all, select on the color, and we're going to pick a lighter blue also. And I told you the other time that you should always try to add your global colors. Okay, global colors makes it easy for us to select our color without stressing ourselves. So we add that color and we make this 1 pixel and we enable it for solid. So we're going to see it apply to all of this. Okay, it applied to only one. Why? Because we are styling with the ID. So whenever you're styling something and you are supposed it is having other elements are having the same class and it's not applying, make sure you notify yourself on the particular styling guide you are using. If it is styling system of ID of a class or of a class. So we select on this, we style again and we make it 1 to apply to everything, 1, and we make it solid base. It's going to apply to all of that. So let's just reduce the color. Let's make it a little bit brighter. That's okay. Can reduce the opacity from here a little to make it a little warm. We don't want it to be too vibrant. Very good. This is perfect. Just to separate the main image from the background. The rounded corners are not, the borders are not applying to this. Why? Possibly because the ID was styled. We have a border style for that ID, which is black. So we're going to go here. You did this yourself. Just notice, I just noticed because it's not applying. That's simple. That's the power of IDs and classes. Automatically, we have it applied now. So next up, we are going to simply do a little bit of styling to these particular elements inside here. Okay, and the text, I think the size is okay. The same applies to this. I don't know if you add a class to this. You didn't add a class to your stuffs. Why? You should add classes to all these elements. So we can call this H3 card. Okay, H3 card, and we still apply the same styling to this one, H3 card. So fine. So any style we are applying to this will apply to the other one. But for the fact we started with the ID, we are going to clear out this and clear out the weights. Okay, and do the same to this one in the ID. So we don't always style your elements with classes. Don't style your elements with IDs, please. Okay, so we go back here, select the class, and we increase the size to whatever size we want. It applies to the both of them. Thickness, we can make it 500 or 600. That's okay. Reduce the size like so is perfect. So the same applies to this. I know you didn't add class to the body text. So we call this BT card. We can just copy the class, just copy it, then add it, then click on this, then paste the class. When you just paste the class, you're going to see it apply pop out and you're going to apply it. So whatever size we are adding, we're also going to remove the styling from the ID. Stop styling your element with IDs, okay, please. Except the reason why you can style your elements with IDs are if that element is only happening once in the entire website. So if we have only one card and we are not going to have another card like this, we can do just that. So we go to the class again and we apply the color white, and we can now style the size of the text. Perfect. So these styles for text, typographies for body text, make sure it's between 14 pixels to 12 pixels. Don't go beyond that. The one you used previously, like the one you use here, is 15 pixels. No, go from 13 pixels. Don't go higher than that. Okay, you get the point. So 13, 14 pixels is okay. You can make this 14 pixel if you like. It's still okay. Now another thing we should consider is the padding around our element. You can select that text element, go to size and spacing, and we are going to give it a margin of 10. To give it a little space, let me give it a margin of 20. To give it a little space from the left and from the right. Okay, it's not applying to this one because possibly we give it a margin size. So clear out the margin, it applies the margin from the class, as you can see from here. And also notice you gave a padding here. You don't need a padding. Don't give a padding. Always give a margin. Okay, don't give a padding below. Give a margin. We are giving a margin of 30. Is the margin that is going to pull from the outside. We are not pulling if you look at what happens when you add a padding. A padding happens from the inside of the element, and that is not good. Okay, because you assume as if there is an extra text here. You should add the spacing from what? The margin of an element if you want to space it from another element outside it. Except you want to space an element from an element inside it. That's when you can add padding. Okay, for instance, we want to space this particular text from the side of this particular card. We can use a padding here. Okay, but we want to space this text from it, but we use margin and not padding. So you clear out that too. I think we made the same mistake from over here. So we're going to go here and clear out our padding style from the class. Let's give it to the class. Padding style of 30, so I can apply to the both of them. So we have good styling here. And that thing is your text. The text color on hover, you can apply your hover style from here. Whenever you are designing, it's an original, this is the size it will be. But when you want to hover it and it changes color, come over here to state and click on hover. When you click on hover, you can now select the color you want it to show when you hover over it. And that's how he achieved that. So practically we could choose a lighter color or a better color for this. I think this is okay, from white to transit to blue. So this is fine, and that is applied to the ID, not the class. And once apply this to the class, we are going to also create a class for it. I'm just giving you instances, create class for everything. I'm not going to do that. I don't have the time. So we're going to copy the style in this one, and we're going to click on this one and paste the style. If you don't want to go on copying, making styles, you can just copy and paste an ID to another one. But whenever you change, you still need to go back there and copy and paste. But using a class, whenever you change, it applies to the rest of them. Isn't that beautiful? So next, we want to reduce the size of the text. It's too bogus, okay? Button text size should be within 16 to 14 pixels. I think you should record all this information I'm putting out to you, okay? Button size should be between 16 and 14 pixels. 15 pixels is still okay. 16 pixels is still okay. Okay, button size 16 to 14 pixels. But text size between 14 to 12 pixels. Okay, so you see the button now is getting better. But one other problem we are having, we need the button to be the width 100% of this particular card. What do? Select on the button, scroll down. If you don't find it here, go to advanced, go to size and spacing. Let's zoom closely so you can see that size and spacing, and in width we are going to click on this and make it percentage and make this 100%, and that applies everything to this part. We can add a margin to the left, a margin of 20 pixels and a margin of 20 pixels right. Okay, we already have a padding here. The padding is too much. We don't need a padding. We don't need a padding of such. Please just remove the padding. You don't need what. Just all you need to do is to make it 100% and you are good to go. Okay, you can further reduce this if you don't want it to stretch to the page. If you don't even want to use margins to space out the text, you can reduce this to 90%. Okay, so it will take 90% of that particular card. So we can simply click on this, copy, not even copy, we are going to copy the styles and we are going to paste the style to this. Perfect. So we are having our stuff setting up. So one other thing I want to point out is this. Let's try to add a little more text to this and see what happens. So as you can see from here, the card here is longer than the card here. We don't want that. Okay, the card here should be equal with the card here. What do? We work on our copyright. That's when you work on your copyright to make sure everything matches together. That's number one way to do it. Number two way to do it is to stretch everything to be of the same height. Select on the element, go to the grid layout, scroll down until you see the vertical stretch and hit on the vertical stretch. And that will what? Stretch everything to be the same width. But the problem is that the button will still be where it is, which you may need to start using padding to what? Space it to be in this particular area, which is not also okay for me. So the best practice is to work on your copyright. Okay, to work on your copyright, you have to make sure you maximize your copyright and remove some text. For instance, we have a lot of text from here which we don't want. We can reduce it so that it can match with this one. We can practically add some more here to match also to this one. You understand what I mean? So next we are going to the next layout. I think we are done with this one at the top and everything looks perfect from there. We get to this next one. The problem we are having now is that this next element can't even stretch to the end, even though we made it 100%. Though we have a padding here, which we are going to remove. We don't need that padding. Go to size and spacing, remove all of the padding and margin. We don't need all of that, okay? The padding and margin from here is okay. The one from inside is okay. We can make that 15. I think 15 is okay for here. 15 also. So it will be close with what padding and margin we have from the one above. And I love the fact you added a padding to the button to space it away from this. That's a very smart move. So now this is 100% width, as we can see from here, okay, with a gap of 25, which is the gap inside. 25 is too much, my brother. Let's just make it 20. Okay, the gap is the one inside of that particular element. I think 15 is even okay. Fine. So it is 100%, but it's not stretching to the edge. Why? Because this particular div is housing a grid layout that allows only 2 columns to what? Be stacked inside of this particular card or div card. So to know what you are doing, you click on this and duplicate it. You see it is going to cover this space over here. But what if we don't want that? We want everything to stretch from here. What we are going to do is to select that particular parent div, which is guiding everything. Go to the grid layout, scroll down. As long as it is 2 here, it's okay. Scroll down till you get to this particular child span override. So this is how to trick it without creating a new section. And this is why he's created a new section, because he couldn't figure out exactly what to do. But I taught that in the last lecture in our course. So click on this particular element, okay? Click on the span and make it just 2. Simple. And you have your stuff work the way you want. You can further select on this element and give it a little bit of padding from the top to space it out from its neighbor. That's one way to do it. Or the second way to do it is to select on the child element and go to the gapping and give it a gap of a vertical gap. I think it should be a horizontal gap. Let's make this back to 20. A horizontal gap of 40 is okay. Still not applied. Let's clear this out. Let's see. These elements could have given themselves an auto gap. So let's do that with the padding. Stretching it to that point is cool. So let it be that it's a little bit different from what is going on here. It's a little bit different information from what's going on here. Now we have a problem inside of this element, one of which are the texts, and you didn't give them classes. So we are going to style this text one after the other, which is what I don't like. Okay, I say your text should be within 16 pixels and below. For the what? For the button text, this is a button text also. So you copy the style and we are going to paste it here. We are going to paste it here because we didn't apply classes to it. So always learn to apply classes to your styles. Okay, I don't have to start applying classes one after the other now. We don't have that much time. So this should be 14 pixels. 14 pixels or 13 pixels is okay. So you're going to copy the style and we're going to paste the style here, paste the style here, paste the style here. So we are done with those basics. We're going to reduce this color of this. The color shouldn't be pure white, so it shouldn't be that is what we call color. In color hierarchy, I'm going to teach you guys that, so that it won't compete with the element at the top. Okay, the element color at the top should have supremacy to the one beneath it. Okay, so paste the styling here. So you see the contrast here is becoming better. So next is the image we have here. I don't like the style. Let's first check the padding around this element. So go to the elements, check sizing, and we have padding of 5 all around it, a width of 100%. This is perfect also. The margin, I wonder why it's 0 here. So fine. So the image, you have a problem here. The image, you should use an image that have a border already. So let's take, for instance, let's check Hostinger image. Hostinger logo. Okay. And we have multiple logos here. This is the one you rushed after. This is bad. Don't use images that doesn't have padding already. Look at what you should use. You see how the image is in the middle and your Hostinger stuff is within, or something like this. Okay, so this is better because it already have padding and margin. But don't worry, we can fix everything from inside of our builder. So for the fact you downloaded an image that doesn't have padding, all you need to do is to add padding to the image itself. So go to advanced, go to background and add a color which is the same color with the background of the image we have here, white. Go to advanced also, click on sizing and spacing, and we're going to give a padding of 10 pixels all around this particular image. You see, so it's automatically creating that size for us. We can now further add a border radius of, let's say a border radius of 20. No, that's too much. And remember, we can't add a border radius to this image. Why? Because we can only add a border radius to a div. Okay, sorry about that. So we can go back here, remove the background color. We don't want that. And we go to spacing. We can remove all of this, can make it 0 and apply to all. Fine. So make sure you go to the what ID, which is what I believe you added an ID to the image. Very good. You added an ID. So go back there, click on image. We have the color white. Okay. Go to advanced, size and spacing, and not margin. We are adding now. You don't need to add any margin. You don't need to add any margin. So remove all of this. We are going to add all padding from the elements from the outside, this particular one. So select on it, go to padding. We are going to add a 10 pixel all around it. Okay, perfect. And we're going to copy this style. Okay, let's first of all finish it up. A border radius of 20 pixels is too much. Let's make it 15 pixels. And we're going to copy the style of this particular element and we're going to paste it in the ID of this particular one. So click option and we paste. As simple as that. Click option, click on the div and we paste. If you added a class in this, it would have applied automatically to all of these div. But because you failed to add a class, and we are having that problem. So we are going to have a problem to this YouTube version. I wonder why you don't have a spacing in your, you should have a spacing in your section so that you should have enough spacing at the top and bottom so you can have a lot of breathing space for your work. Okay, so as you can see from here, okay, we have a padding already in the image which is not present in the other ones, as you can see. Now, if we add this style just as we have here to this one, it's going to have too much of padding at the top. Let's try that out. So click option and paste. It's going to have excess padding at the top. As you can see, the padding to the left and right is not the same with the top and the bottom. How do we fix that? We are going to remove some padding at the top of this particular style sheet. So we go to advanced, go to size and spacing. At the padding top, we are going to make this 5 pixels. And the padding bottom 5 pixels to match what we have in there. Okay, it's not matching properly. Why? Because the image also, we need to reduce the size of the image to make that match a little more. Okay, we reduce the size of the image. Let's go back to advanced, size and spacing. At the top, we're talking about the div here. At the top and bottom, let's move it back to 10 pixels and this also 10 pixels. And I think that is getting better. Why it seems this image is like so is because it is a horizontal image, unlike these ones that are square. Squared images have specific size left, top and right, but this won't have a specific size, so we just have the basic size as we have and everything is good. You get the point? So that's what you need to do. One other thing we are missing here is that we are missing the icon at the left. Okay, so we are going to add that icon at the left. Click on this element, click on this element outside, and we add an icon. Okay, we add the icon applies here, but we are having a problem. If we select on this icon, let's make the color of the icon white. Okay, select on the icon and we want to apply an Oxy Ninja icon. Let's just apply this icon forward. And we want the icon to be at the edge while these other elements are here. But if we go to the primary of this particular element and push everything space between, we are going to have something like this. Why are we having that? Because this element and this element should be guarded with one div. So practically this particular div, we can go in here to do that, or we can drag this particular div into this one. Can go in here inside of this element. We have the text elements 1 and 2 inside of this div, and we have our image and the inner content, which is this one guiding everything. So we can drag it in and place it on top of this particular div, which makes it what? Which makes it stays together with this particular div. Now it's together, we can click on this element and make it what? Horizontally aligned. Now it's horizontally aligned. You see the element, this text and this text here are becoming horizontally aligned too. The simplest thing we are going to do is to click on this, wrap it with another div, that's add another div to this particular text, and dragging this text over here to this one. By what? Can do it from here, dragging the text from here to here. So we have the text at the top and this one at the bottom. We can put it to the top now and everything is okay. You can select on the div guiding everything here and make sure everything is middle centered. Okay. Also, you can add a little bit of gap here. You can call it 20 pixels to space it a little bit from this other one. You get the point? Now we have the image here, but it is not what centered. How do we do that? We can click on this to reduce the size of the image to like 40 pixels. So how do we fix that? Click on this and center align everything, and everything is okay. We can further click on this and delete all of these ones and duplicate this one and continue our styling from there, because we can't copy the shapes or the divs we created in this one. So as simple as that, we can just click on this particular element here and duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. Fine. Now we've duplicated, we can delete this, and delete this. Then we can start adding or changing our image from here. So we browse and click on Behance, enable that. So we have the elements, and we'll still apply the same to the rest of them. You can click on this and browse and add YouTube. As you're adding, you can then further change the names of those particular elements. You can call this, we can also add, let's just add this logo in there just for the design purposes. So we have it in there. So this is simply how to style our stuff. As you can see, we are missing the color of the background. Okay, we are going to apply the color from this particular background. The cat 2, I think, is missing from here. The cat 2 is here present, but it's not applying the color. So we're going to do that. Let's deal with that once and for all. Okay, because we applied the ID have a style that is darker. So we clear out that ID and have our color from there. So that's simply or practically how to style your work. And we just did this in a couple of minutes. In less than 30 minutes, we are done with this whole layout. Okay, so the responsiveness, we click on this to check how it is responsive. It's perfect in this. We click on this to check the responsiveness is perfect in this. We don't need to reduce any size. We need to reduce the size of these elements. We need to reduce the size of these elements. So we click on this and reduce size from 14 to about 12 is okay for here, and these other ones are okay. We check on this and the sizing around here. is not perfect as we want it to be. So we are going to fix that right away. So to fix that, is very simple. What we're going to do is that we want this now to stack vertically. Okay, we want this element to stack vertically, but before then, we don't want the sizing or spacing we gave to this particular. This is where adding classes to elements comes in play, because if we don't have classes in this, it will become a nightmare for us copying styles from here to there. So the margin here, we are going to remove it because we don't need it in this particular breakpoint. You see, the problem it's causing is making the text have too much of padding. The more you are reducing the size of an element, the more you need more space for it. So we are done with that, and I think we are okay for that with what we have. This particular one is left aligned. This text is left aligned. We will need to center align it. Click on advanced, click on typography and center align it so it will be in the middle of everything. The space between the text is too much. So we can click on the height and make it 1 pixel or 1.1 pixels. Let's make it 1.2 pixels. That's okay. And we reduce the size a little more because the size is too bogus for that particular breakpoint. The size is too bogus. So we go to the ID, we remove the size we gave it in the ID. We are going to style it from the class. The ID is okay. We styled it from the ID from the initial. From the initial, we styled it from the ID. We practically can't add on the class, not at all. Okay, so this is the problem you face when you are styling with an ID. On a lesser breakpoint, you can't clear out things because you have already added an inherited size through the ID. Okay, so you practically still need to reduce the size from here and copy the style and paste it here, which is not something I advise you to do or to always do. So next thing we are going to do is, I think the space we still have here is too much. Let's check on this typography if we are having some space. I think space are okay. Okay, it's because of the size of the text. Okay, fine. So since we are stacking this vertically, we are going to select the div guiding everything. Go to the grid layout and stack it column 1. We stacked it column 1, but it's not responding. He stacked already column 1. So let's try column 2 and let's go back to column 1. It's still not responding. So we're going to find the problem, what issue you had when creating this. I think you you had a problem while creating this layout. Okay, look at where the problem falls in. Okay, this is where the child span over row styling. This is where the problem falls in. Okay, so simply what you need to do from here, see the child spanning for this one and child spanning for this one is 2 columns, is guiding 2 columns. No problem, we can leave it at that. Select on this top one, make it 1. Okay, and select on this also and make it 1. I think clearing this off, making it 2, perfect. Making it 2 is just what makes that work. So 2 strokes in column. If you applied a style and in the column count, you are seeing that it's not responding. This is because you already styled this in this particular breakpoint. I wasn't here anyway when you are designing this particular breakpoint without what affecting this particular layout, this particular one that is styled at 1 column, which we don't need it to be in 1 column. Okay, whenever you are styling, make sure everything here poses at a stretch row if you are making it vertically aligned. So perfect. We still have a space here which we don't want. I think that is coming from this element. Let's check out this element, advanced spacing. I think it's from the padding, not from the padding. Let's this should be 100% width, and it's 100% width. Okay, let's go back to the divs are okay. So why this not respecting the size at all? Let's make this 100% from this particular breakpoint. Still the same. Let's go to size and spacing, and this is padding. Is not a problem. We have a margin size here, which I think we don't know where the problem is coming from. Let's just select on this, go to advanced layouts, and let's see this to 2. Okay, perfect. So this is where the grid column span is giving the issue. So make sure everything here is aligned double to all sizes, and that fixes the problem. So that is it for that. And this particular one, you see the sizing of the image skews. You see the size of the image skews. This is not the size we have in this one. You see it, the size of this one is too specific. It's box, but this one is not a box. Now look at where the problem comes from. Get to the main breakpoint, select on that particular image. You only give the width to the size of the image. I didn't give the height. Don't give a height to the size of the image. Or else when you are breaking it down, that height we cascade to the what? Lesser breakpoint. So clear out this height, and we have the main size as we have. Clear out this size, clear out this size, and also clear out this size. Fine. So now when we get to the lesser breakpoint, we are not going to have those issues. Okay. On this particular breakpoint, I think you also added a height to it. Okay, you didn't add the height. It is just the height that we needed to add from the div itself. So we can go back to the first breakpoint, go to advanced, go to size and spacing. Instead of 10 pixels, we are going to make this now 20 pixel top and 20 pixel bottom. Or let's make it 15. 15 is okay. So it can match up with the size we have like the others. Let's make this 16. 17 and 17. That's perfect. So get to the lesser breakpoint and check everything is fine from the icons. Everything is fine from this particular icon breakpoint. And we get to the next breakpoint to style. We're still having the same issue from here. Okay, let's check out the image. If we added a width, we didn't. And did we add? You styled this in a very different way. So we're going to fix that anyway. Okay, so the padding, I think there is a padding with this particular element. See, so we don't need that padding. Go to that particular element. We don't need that padding at all. Let's check from where that padding started. Padding started here. It's not perfect. Okay, we are supposed to remove that padding from the first element. Okay, that's the margin. So clear out that margin. We don't need that margin. Okay, and you copy the style and you paste it in the other elements. Paste to the other elements, paste. Everything should be well sized. The width here should be the width at the top and the pixel at the top and the pixel left and right, except for these other ones. So we go to the breakpoints, lesser breakpoints. We are not having issues there. I think we should select on this, and the sizing here, we can make it, instead of 5 pixels, let's just make it 10 pixels all around. Okay, let's make 5 pixels at the top and 5 pixels at the bottom, 10 pixels at the left and right. You can just copy the style since you didn't add class. That's why this is becoming difficult for you. Okay, add classes to your designs. Add classes and make sure everything styles and works perfect. So we get to the lesser breakpoint, everything is perfect from here, and everything is perfect from here too. So as you can see, so we can reduce the size of this also to like 11 pixels, and the text here shouldn't be too much. Okay, so copy the style, copy style, and we paste the style, and we paste the style, and we paste the style. Perfect. And the buttons, we can reduce the size of the buttons, is too much because it's now getting to the lesser breakpoint. And copy the style, can paste the style and paste the style. If we had classes on this, we shouldn't be doing all of this. Just one style will fix everything. So we are here, we can reduce the size of every icon. Instead of 60%, we are going to reduce it by 10 pixels. 10 pixels for each of the elements so that it can match up. Okay, 10 pixels are perfect. Cool. So we're having it getting lesser. So we are good with this. Everything here is perfect, as you can see. The size of the button here is too much. for this particular breakpoint. So the button size should be reduced to about, no, not this. I mean the button text size should be reduced to about, let's say 14 pixels is okay. So we copy that style and we paste it here. So we are good to go. So let's get to the last breakpoint, and everything seems perfect from here. Everything seems very perfect, except for the padding, which is too much from here. The bottom padding is too much, so we reduce it a little, like so, and we still do the same with this. So perfect, we get to the lesser breakpoint. You see that the text here is becoming a problem for us. So we practically have to hide the text in this particular breakpoint. So select on this, we have to hide the text on mobile. Select on this, go to layout and make it a none, meaning it's not going to show on mobile. That's the meaning of the none. Display none means do not show on mobile breakpoints. We're going to do that same thing to this one, and we are good to go. So we practically could reduce the size of our text further to 14 pixels, okay, to match up things the way we want them to be. 14 pixels or 13 pixels is okay. And when we are doing that to the text, we're also going to do that to the icons. So we're going to paste the style. This is very stressful, and this is what wasted like 40% of our time. So we're going to reduce the size of this to 40 and apply the same to the rest of them. So just copy style, and we are going to paste the style here. We're going to paste the style here. That will be giving space to our text so it can flow. Then the spacing at the left side, we are going to remove that spacing. I mean the padding by the left side, going to make it 5 pixel. Okay, or let's make that pixel 0, because the button itself have its own pixel size. So we're going to copy the style and we're going to paste here. Okay, let's copy the style because it didn't copy. Let's copy the style, allow it blink, and then paste. Okay, we are supposed to paste the style. Sorry, we're going to copy the style from here. Copy style. We're supposed to paste it in the element that is giving the padding, not the button itself. So we're going to paste style, and we're going to paste style, and we're going to paste style. Perfect. So if you see this in your mobile, you're going to see this link in the YouTube, in this channel description below, so you can check it out yourself and see how this design works, if it's fine, or if it's fine on your mobile size or it's not. But I believe this is perfect on your mobile. When you check it, you're going to see a huge difference from what we have done before now. So we are good to go, and that is it for breakpoint. You can save your work or delete it if you want. I would like you to design this exactly as I did it, so I won't save this work. I'm going to delete it after now, so you can make all this modification as I just made it with the tutorial or the guide I gave you. So that's it, guys, and that's a replica of the style we have over here, okay, from the main Design Academy link. As you can see, we'll be learning the styling, extra styling, like the wobbling of these icons in our future course. Okay, I'm going to make that tutorial on YouTube channel on how to apply all of this and make stuff work for you. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this modification course. It's just about 45 minutes, and I think we did a very wonderful work in styling our work to work on all breakpoints perfectly without having any issue at all. Perfect. So as you can see, the text we removed here are going to show on other breakpoints cascading above. Any style you apply to a breakpoint above will apply to all breakpoints below, but any style you apply to the last breakpoint or a breakpoint will only apply to the next breakpoint to it, but won't apply to the breakpoints above it. So you have that in mind. Till we meet again in our next video or next lecture. Have a wonderful day.